Good.
Don't mute me. Cool. I taped them off.
Okay. We're going to do an estimation jar. Estimation is where you guess, you look at something and you try to guess how many is in the jar. Okay. I'm going to give you a hint. It's more than 10. So I want you to think about numbers that are more than 10. Okay. I'm going to give you a second to look at it. Okay. Did everybody get a second to look at the jar? Can you give me a thumbs up if you got a good look? Good. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go down my list, and when I call your name, I want you to unmute yourself so you can tell me how many gems you think are in the jar. Okay. Claire. Sorry, Mom.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? How many do you think are in the jar, Claire? It's more than 10. Can you come up with a number that's more than 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20.
Okay, that's a good guess. I'm gonna put you down for 20. All right, my next friend is gonna be Aiden.
12.
12, okay. My next friend is gonna be Connor.
I gonna think 24.
24, okay, that's a good guess. And then my next friend is gonna be Demi.
18.
18, okay. All right, and let's see, Aubrey, what do you think? I love your helmet. How many gems do you think are in the jar?
Muted.
1, 2, 3.
Say, speak up.
100.
100? Wow. Okay. That's a good guess. Good. All right. Let's go to my next page. Let's see. Gabriel, how many do you think are in the jar?
Say it again.
100.
100? Okay. Good. Gio, how many do you think are in the jar?
26.
Okay.
26? Good. Let's see. TJ, how many do you think are in the jar?
There you go.
I think 90.
90?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good guess. Luca, how many do you think are in the jar?
Oh my gosh. 50.
50? Okay. A good guess. And Miss Charlotte, how many do you think are in the jar?
Yeah. I think 10.
10. Okay. Good. Did I get everybody? I think I did. Yeah. Okay. So are you guys ready to hear how many are actually in the jar? If you can believe it, there are 67 gems in this jar. Does this look like 67? That's crazy, right? So actually Luca was the closest. So great job, Luca. Great estimating skills. And this is something you guys can do at home to work on your estimation. You can have mommy and daddy put something in a jar and you can look at it and try to guess how many are in the jar just by looking. Okay? Great job. Does anybody want to tell me something that they learned about this week?
Crocodiles, maybe? You did have to tell them what you learned about it. You don't have to tell them stuff you learned. I learned about math.
You learned about math? That's great. Do you remember what you did?
Math.
Good.
Do you remember about the rock?
The bat.
Bats. Yeah, you learned about bats because bats are nocturnal, right?
What did you learn about? I learned about math. Yeah. I learned about how I learned how to read.
You learned how to read what, TJ?
I learned how to read, but
That's good. That's good. Miss Sarah, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I have a couple of poems that I'd like to read for the last couple of minutes that we're together. I have a new Mother Goose book to read to you guys, but this one doesn't really have any pictures, so you're just going to have to listen. We're going to start out with a couple of rhymes that you already know, but some of them add some more to the rhymes. So we're going to start out with The Lion and the Unicorn. Do you guys remember this one? Give me a thumbs up if you remember The Lion and the Unicorn. Right? Good. Here we go. The lion and the unicorn were fighting for the crown. The lion beat the unicorn all around the town. Some gave them white bread and some gave them brown. And some gave them plum cake and drummed them out of town. All right, the next one we're going to read is Little Boy Blue. Do you guys remember reading Little Boy Blue? Give me a thumbs up if you remember. It's not one of the ones that we read very often, but if you remember it, then you can remember the picture along with me as I read it. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Where is the boy who looked after the sheep? He's under the haystack, fast asleep. Will you wake him? Oh no, not I, for if I do, he'll surely cry. All right, the next one we're going to read is Little Bo Peep. Now this one is going to be a lot longer than what we usually do. So you remember when we're at school and we read poems, right? Do we look at the pictures or do we imagine the pictures in our minds? Right? We imagine the pictures in our minds, right? Yeah. So as I read, why don't you try to imagine what's happening to Little Bo Peep, because her story is a lot more interesting when it goes longer. Here we go. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home, bringing their tails behind them. Little Bo Peep fell fast asleep and dreamed she heard them bleating. But when she awoke, she found it a joke, for they were all still fleeting. That means running away. Then up she took her little crook. That's something that the shepherds used to look after the sheep. It kind of looks like a candy cane. Then up she took her little crook, determined for to find them. She found them indeed, but it made her heart bleed, for they left their tails behind them. It happened one day, as Bo Peep did stray into a meadow hard by, that means close by. There she she saw, their tails side by side, all hung on a tree to dry. She heaved a sigh and wiped her eye, and over the hillocks went rambling, and tried what she could, as a shepherdess should, to tack again each to its lambkin. So what happened in that poem? Bo Peep lost her sheep and she found them again, but what were they missing? Were they missing their tails? Give me a thumbs up if you think they were missing their tails.
They were
Yeah.
missing tails.
Did she find them again? Yeah, and then what did she have to do?
She had to dry her tails.
Yeah, they had to dry the tails, right? All right, we'll do one last one, and then I think we can call it a day, unless Miss Heather, you had something?
I have something to say at the end, but absolutely read your poem.
All right, the last one we're going to do is Little Jack Horner, because it's so much fun, right? Do you guys remember this one? Give me a thumbs up if you remember Little Jack Horner. All right, let's try to imagine our friend Little Jack Horner sitting in his corner as I read the poem. Little Jack Horner sat in a corner, eating his Christmas pie. He put in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." All right, and there we go. I'm glad to see you guys and that I could read some Mother Goose poems with you guys again.
I'm so happy to see you guys, and I hope that you have a great weekend. I wanted to give my friends and their parents a heads up. Next weekend, or next week we're going to celebrate Earth Day, so really it's Earth Week. So if you could hold on to some of your recyclables, like toilet paper rolls, paper towel rolls, cardboard boxes, maybe rinse out some milk jugs that you're using. They'll come in handy for the week for making art and building. And newspaper too. That would be great too. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up in case like maybe your recyclable day is at the beginning of the week, because mine is. I hope everybody has a great, 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 great weekend. It's been so great to see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Mr. John.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for everything.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
Heather.